Hello, Anthony. Nice meeting with you guys today. I am in your basement, as you see right there on your screen, just kind of giving you orientation. There's that elusive clean out. Not difficult to find if you know what to look for. I mean, generally it's you look where the main stack is on the outside above the roof line, and then you kind of figure out approximately where it's going to be in the basement, and then you kind of sleuth your way to it. We're starting out in cast iron pipe, very typical cast iron pipe, uh, typical bumpiness. I've seen pipes that were much, much worse than this. This is normal corrosion on the inside. The little water flowing at the bottom is one just to help me push through it. It makes my camera push a little bit easier. It also gives you orientation as to what down is. This is a transition to clay. So right at about 26 feet, we switch over from cast iron to clay, normal. These are 4-foot sections of vitreous clay pipe, normal. A little bit of root growth coming in at these connections, normal. I would say in looking at this pipe was probably cleaned within the last, maybe 3 or 4 months or so, in preparation for sale. That's just a guess. This may be the full extent of it, but again, you've got just minimal root growth at these connection points. Some a little more like there, some a little less like here. The other thing is, because clay pipes just pressure fitted together, that's not a mechanical connection, you're going to get some offsets, meaning the pipes don't quite line up. And this also happens when there's a change in the direction of the pipe. If it's generally it's going down, you want a downward slope in a sewer pipe. That the pipes are just not level with each other. One section is lower than the other, another section's higher than the other. So generally you'll get these little offsets. Also, as you get further along in a pipe, especially as you get closer to the city connections, these tend to become more pronounced. The No slight against them, but the city guys generally don't. They're not finished carpenters, if you want to put it that way. They're not really worried about aesthetics. They're throwing pipe together. They're making the final connections. The line from your house out to that city connection, the plumbers that are putting them in, they have more of a vested interest in how well they put the pipes together. Not a defect generally. More root growth right there on the bottom of your screen, which is the top of the pipe. Um, uh, but I mean, all in all, you'll see what I mean when I talk about it. It's a little bit more difficult for me to bounce over the top of that. But offsets are generally to be expected. Slightly bigger offset right there. You can see the water flowing. I had to work over that a little bit more. Um, Sometimes in these situations, what I'll do is I'll get a higher volume of water pushing through the line. Another relatively, again, relatively bigger offset right there. And then this is the final drop down to the city connection. And that's the city line right there. Um, all told, roughly 125 feet out, you're pretty solid. Like we discussed today, you don't know the history of the pipe, how quickly it grows roots back. So I would take a stepped approach, probably the next year and a half or so. I would reevaluate the line and see what the root growth is comparable, right? So comparable to this point in time versus a year and a half in the future. See how quickly it grows back. Um, if it looks moderate, if it looks like you don't really have to do anything, at least you can gauge get an idea. Okay, so in a year from now, we're going to get these roots cut out again, and then you have an idea. So it's basically it's 3 years turnaround time. So it could be more, it could be 5 years, depending. But then you kind of get a history and a game plan on how quickly you want to work on cleaning out those roots. The big thing with root intrusion is that eventually it'll start, if it's big enough, it'll really fill in the pipe, and two, it'll start catching paper products, create opportunities for backups. Definitely not something that you want to have, become the norm there. As always, please feel free to reach out to me with questions or if I can help in any way.